Okay, so I would like to propose to you something. I want you to imagine that tonight, when you are completely alone, something appears beside you, and that thing tells you that your life will repeat itself, not not in a similar way. It will be exactly the same life. Every decision, every mistake, everything will happen again in precisely the same order. And my question to you is, would that feel like a blessing or like a punishment? And this is actually one idea from Nietzsche. It's one of its most unsettling ideas. I believe it's called eternal recurrence. It can be understood as a test for your relationship with your own life. And because many of us live as if the real part hasn't started yet, we tell ourselves that the meaningful will come later, after university, after the money, after the relationship, after, it's just after, every single time. And the present basically just becomes a waiting room that we tolerate in order to get to the part of life that's supposed to matter. And when we finally reach one of those goals, the feeling rarely lasts. It lasts for moments, a couple days maybe. Then the extraordinary becomes normal, and the new goal appears, and everything occurs again. And like, there's nothing wrong with having goals. That's not the point. The problem begins when we treat the journey to the goal not as a good thing, but as the price that we must pay to reach the goal. And because most of life is the journey itself, like, you may spend years working towards something, and the achievement, the moment of achievement, lasts a couple hours, maybe a couple days. And if you hate every step that brought you there, was the destination really enough? And this is what I find fascinating with Nietzsche's question, because it forces us to look not only at where we are going, but at the life we are creating on the way there. And would you accept repeating those ordinary days if it wasn't certain that you would achieve? Don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean that every step of the way should be enjoyable, and a worthwhile life is not necessarily a comfortable one. Learning most of the time requires some difficulty. Building a relationship carries some difficulty. Everything has some difficulty involved in one way or another. But there is a significant difference between meaningful difficulty and meaningless suffering. And pain is not automatically a thing that makes us stronger. Like, sometimes it just teaches us something, sometimes it does nothing. The value is not in the suffering itself, the value is what the suffering is connected to, what we achieve through that suffering, the search for the Ubermesh in some senses. And this is, in my opinion, where a lot of people get Nietzsche's idea wrong. His idea of willpower, in my view, is often misunderstood as a desire to dominate. But in my view, it's more of a driver to overcome resistance, especially within ourselves. I think this is the most important part, to transform weakness into something desirable, to reach that overmatch. It's basically a refusal to remain permanently trapped inside the person we already are. And in my view, this is why a life organized entirely around comfort can be dangerous. Like, don't get me wrong, comfort and rest are necessary, but when avoiding discomfort becomes our highest priority, there's something in our world that shrinks. There's something beyond pleasure that disappears. We avoid the difficult part, the part that makes us reach somewhere meaningful. We experience less immediate pain with this, but we also lose many of the desirable conditions in which meaning can appear. So, with all of this, I would like to propose to you something. I want you to think of your life more in the sense of what would make the difficulties of the path worthwhile, what would make it desirable. And this is something that was useful in my life. And I hope you can produce something useful for yours too from this discussion. So that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, subscribe, give it a like, and be well.